It has so much potential, but I think that the main thing is, especially with when they said that they cut specifically, not that I want to get too deep with it, but they said that they cut Forge Tower normal mode, which would be more casual player content, due to cost. So we only got the higher tier, more difficult version of it. I think that that was a jarring statement. So it's just like, okay, this is your golden goose in terms of revenue. It's really up to Square Enix. Do they want it to be the thing? Because I see all the potential in the world, like the collaborations, the community, the fan base, the reception. That's really as far as I see it. Because we do need more content, in my opinion. More grippy mid-core, like, which mid-core is an ambiguous term, so it's like just scalable content. Like I always cite World of Warcraft's Mythic Plus dungeon system, which some people love it, some people hate it. But what I really like about that is you determine how much time you want to put in and the difficulty. And if you only make it to +7 key, okay, you make it to +7 key. But then you could have like the really hardcore Twitch streamers go to like a +25 key or something absurd. And for them, that's even more content for them to do. So unfortunately, I suppose that's a long-winded answer. I think it more depends on Square Enix. The potential's absolutely there.
Do you think that, because Yoshi-P talked about that they've lost the trust and they're going to have to work to get the player trust back? Do you think the trust is lost? That seems like a powerful statement. The last time I heard him talk about that was from 1.0 to 2.0.
Yeah, that stood out to me too, because I remember him saying that in the live letter. And part of me wanted to say, oh, it's just in terms of how many server maintenances we've had lately, which to me is like server maintenance happens. Like it doesn't happen that much in 14, and it wasn't a big issue. But like if what he was truly meaning was a wider content thing, that could be revolutionary. But because I think it's very interesting, and again, I don't want to say this because it sounds like putting words in someone's mouth, so I'm not trying to, but I've talked to a lot of friends about it. And why would someone that is such a high level executive in a company with so much power, with so many eyes on them, who knows exactly what a social event that live letter was, talk about cost and trust in the same thing? I don't want to say it's a cry for help of some sort, but that's what a lot of people were talking to me about. It's just like someone at that level, someone with that much brain capacity doesn't really make a mistake. And so it stood out, I suppose.
Scrag, Mugen's question to you: should they make another Final Fantasy MMO to follow this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that since Endwalker was announced. Yoshi-P has said before he always wanted to make his own game from start to finish, and I think they should let him do that. That's kind of my opinion, because I think what he's done with 14 is great. It's amazing. It's awesome. He saved it, even though I kind of liked 1.0, which is not a popular opinion, but he saved it, and I think that they should give him a shot at making what he wants to make.
Yeah, I agree. The one of the things, especially when I look at the issues that people bring up, I always feel like it's a friction between like the story-driven elements and the MMO kind of aspects that what people think of. And that's where when we talk about like gearing with purpose, like the replayability, the mid-core content, in that regards, especially like when you think about the 4-man versus like, maybe a 5-man or 6. When you look at Final Fantasy 11, for example, I fall into the category that it's like this game's over 15 years old. I think if they were going to do it, and Yoshi-P's talked about how much of a nightmare it would be to make another, like, and try to get the 14 community to migrate into the new MMO, because there could be a real risk in which that, like, yeah, the people you thought they were going to come along, that's what they thought with 11. They thought all the 11 players would go into 14, and then they could shut down 11. Turns out 11's still rocking and rolling. In fact, I'm resubbing to Final Fantasy 11 this weekend because I really love the game, and I want that game to succeed. I'd love to see them either make a brand new Final Fantasy MMO that's set like with the latest technology, with that full design decision, with that full long-term planning, not having to be like remade in 18 months and then have to spend so much time working on some of these smaller things like, hey, multiple dies on your gear, which they finally brought in with Dawn Trail. That is in and of itself a sign of just the amount of work that they're having to do behind the scenes that don't necessarily players feel that kind of payoff. I've seen even people frustrated about the graphical overhaul. I know when stepping in and playing the game, I did not notice it. Meaning that, yeah, I know that when they showed side by side comparisons, you could easily see the difference. And I was like, yes, the new graphical interface like looks better. But I literally am playing it and it's just water under the bridge. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess that means, like I don't know if that had the payoff that a lot of people were hoping for. Yeah, that's kind of where I fall. I'd love to see something about either a brand new MMO for like a whole new generation. Timeline wise, guys, I don't think that'd be out until sometime after 2030 if they were starting now. But the question ends up being also, I think y'all have all brought it and touched on it. Yoshi-P, he might be working, like we know he's working on so many things. Even the CEO says that they've got Yoshi-P working on so many different things. Like, is it a matter that they've literally just made this man so busy that some of these things that are plaguing the game now are just because he has not been able to kind of helm the game, because he is the producer and the director, where he was just like the producer on 16, for example. Like, what's the plan there? What do y'all think?
I just think they need more competent people that's like Yoshi-P. It's like they're just putting everything on this man, because he did bring Final Fantasy 14 back from the dead. So I understand, that he's like the Kevin Feige now and everything. So they want to just put everything on him. But I just think they need, better leadership, more people that can, alleviate some of that stress and stuff. So I think he is being overworked, and I think it's probably finally showing from the results of what people were, complaining about, in 14. So I think that's my personal opinion.
What do you think, Cole?
I correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he step down from the board of directors like 3 or 4 months ago?
He did, and I think that's maybe a positive move. I didn't know really how to feel about that, but go continue.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, because it's just like I don't know how much, like, obviously I think that he has a lot of sway still, regardless if he has that position or not. But it's like I part of me wonders if he stepped down because he saw things, and obviously he would know months ago what was coming down the pipeline before we would have our hands on it. But maybe he saw things and he was just like, okay, I need to put this down and I need to focus on actually getting our golden goose up, because it's like if the golden goose isn't fed, like, that's a way bigger disaster. Like that financial report, like it was pretty clear, if I'm honest. God, how to even segue from that. But I think that, yeah, he's overloaded. I think too many people are putting too many expectations on him. And I mean, there's only so much that one human being can do. It's just like you have him working on 16, you have him working on 14, you have the creative unit. I think that he's also working on the Tactics remake, which I'm personally excited for that game too. And then it's just like there could be 17 in the background and who knows what else. And there's only so much that one person can do. And so it's I think that he's in an unfair position where he's getting a whole lot of flack for things that I don't think that he could reasonably be expected to be responsible for, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair statement. Yeah, because it's like just seeing how much they put on him, like Wes and you guys are confirmed, like he's in charge of the Final Fantasy Tactics, that remake, which honestly I'm really excited for. I think that's going to be, and I want to try and encourage everybody to play. In fact, we'll give away copies of that game if that's what it takes to get more people Tactics, because it's not just with the Tactics, it's also with Advanced and Advanced 2. Like those are some other great Final Fantasy Tactics games that are just like kind of lost to time.